Good afternoon. Welcome. It's great to be here. So by brief introduction, my name is Andrew Haas. I'm the Regional Vice President for Anaplan, and I have the absolute privilege of bringing modern technology into the Middle East and Turkish markets. I'm joined today by the managing partner of a great partner of ours, Planingo. Leonid, I'm going to hand to you just for a quick introduction of yourself as well.
Thank you, Andrew. Welcome, everyone. Happy to have you today here. My name is Leonid. I'm managing partner of a company called Planingo. So we are the partner of Anaplan and helping to bring also the modern technology in the space of planning and forecasting to Middle East and Turkey and to our clients across the globe.
Brilliant. We're also very, very happy to be joined by Philipp, who's the CEO of one of our customers, Balton Trading in Asia, as well as a colleague from Unilever, Michelle, who's the transformation planning manager for North America. It's great to have you here. And these are just two examples of customers that are experiencing the benefits of modernizing their planning end to end. And we'll hear a little bit about them later on today.
Alex, we invite you to hear a short video as the intro to Anaplan platform before we go into the slides talking about challenges in the space of business challenges in the space of planning in particular for the Middle East and Turkey. So let's go ahead.
Anaplan is the tool that allows interconnectivity, interconnected planning, and allows you to build optimized solutions for everyday problems.
Anaplan is a big modular calculator that's capable of crunching vast volumes of data.
For me, the most powerful thing about Anaplan is the picture it enables us to paint.
It fills a gap that none of the other tools I've used so far does.
We were really looking for a solution which could be implemented quickly, but also add value.
The key difference to me with the Anaplan implementation was it was very collaborative. It felt like a partnership, not a vendor relationship.
And it's been transformational for our business.
It gives us the ability to view data in a much more holistic way. But not only that, it gives us almost instantaneous access to that information in one central repository. So you're not chasing spreadsheets, you're not managing or worrying about version control, and the information is dynamic, but also informative.
Hope this short video give you a first impression about the platform and the plan that will be presenting today to you, and we'll be talking about the practical experience of the platform. But before moving into the presentations regarding how the modern technology can help to respond to the current challenges, we want to talk about them a bit more and elaborate on it. So, but just quick one is I just want to introduce you. Planingo is the company. So we consultancy firm that helps companies to do the transformation in planning space. Our team is a combined expertise in technology, so we help companies to do the integration. Obviously, planning is always about getting, actuals and some other data from many systems. And also with the team with a big experience, a vast experience in operations, in supply chain, and finance. This helps us to understand the business objectives and deliver really solutions that are really working and serve the business. And we're working across the globe. We have clients in many places of the world. But one of our key focuses is Middle East and Turkey, and we're glad that we can bring this technology and our solution to the market. The third thing I want to talk about is about some long-lasting global trends that we see for many years and that are very relevant for the consumer goods industry. I think they, at the same time, relevant for some other industries as well, but I will talk now more from the angle of the consumer goods. The first thing is about personalization. This is about the fact that the consumer, the shopper, looking for the individual solution in the particular sales channel, and all of us wants to get a specific offer, a specific solution, a specific product that really responds to our needs, daily needs. And the second trend is about real-time data, real-time changes. We all see that we have like a huge amount of data now available for us. There is always the challenge to get some insights and to do like a proper decision-making process based on it. But it's definitely the trend that we see that this data starts to be more and more available. And that's one of the things and challenges, what to do with this data. And the third one might be sounds like a very technical about the Moore's law. So you know that technology is always progressing. And interesting thing is that our view is these three trends actually feed each other in a way. So through the personalization, we have more data about our consumers and our shoppers. We can make more insights, and this all enabled by the modern technology. So what is happening now is that we see that it's constantly changing and evolving, and we take these trends as the basic influence on the consumer goods industry. Now I want to talk a bit more about the particular challenges for consumer goods companies in Middle East and Turkey. And I want just to first kind of announce them. The first one is about diverse teams and big geography. I'm pretty sure we have today on the call companies that probably operate in one particular country or just in a few countries, or probably working in many countries. And this all is one of the challenges, is how to operate for such a big geography. The second one is varied regional economic specifics. The region is very different. I mean, and each country has its own specific. It needs to be considered when we're talking about planning. And I will be talking about this a bit more. The third one is about maturity of the processes, which are really different from the company to company, from region to region, from company to company in the sense of vendor, supplier, and the customer. And at the same time, we need to collaborate. We need to cooperate in order to run the business. And that's one of the challenges, how to consider these different differences as well. The last but not the least, we have a different go-to-market models. We have markets where the modern trade is taking its share. At the same time, we have countries where traditional trade still play a big role. So talking a bit each of these blocks in a bit more detail. So first one is about diverse teams and geographical region. I just wanted to say that, not going through all the points, is that overall working with the different cultures across the different geographies is one of the challenges. The practical challenges also, we can see it in different schedules and working days, time zones and holidays, and all of these needs to be considered in planning and taken into account in order to respond to the particular needs for each country and for each category and company. The second thing is about regional economic specifics. We have in the region countries that experience inflation already for many years, and it's sometimes a double digit. we see that in UE, many companies required to consolidate information from the different countries, and this means multi-currency. So it means that we need to be able to plan in different currencies and consolidate the data. In order to understand what is happening in each country, we need to consider the specifics of each market, each country, and what is happening, because the changes are everywhere and they might have a different direction in different aspects. And another point is that some of the decisions are not always driven but purely economically. So it's not only about the financials, but sometimes there are restrictions that not allowing to execute probably the best solution from a perspective of profit. Customized go-to-market models. The go-to-market models and differences between the countries always drive the challenge how to bring in new categories, new brands, new products to these markets. And we need to plan it. We need to consider the coverage. We need to understand where we're going to go, which particular product we're going to bring, what profit we're going to get as a result of that. And also, when we're talking about quite complicated models, when we have both modern trades, distributors, in this case, we understand that all the participants of the market are interdependent in terms of data, interdependent in terms of decisions and how to implement this decision. So collaboration is the really critical thing to have. The last one is about maturity of the processes. It's always very difficult to maintain the discipline when you work internally and externally. Yeah, and the challenge is to talk about the same numbers, to talking about the same plans, same assumptions that are lying as a base for current plans. It's always the challenge. Especially it's a challenge when you need to cooperate across different countries, across different teams, and you need to maintain this maturity at the same level, but at the same consider that it might be different. Another thing is about tools. It's quite often to see that even within the company, different functions use different tools for planning. And then you have a challenge of consolidation of the information or looking end to end to make best decisions that in the end will lead to the achievement of business goals. And it's one thing, it's when it's within, again, one country or one team, and it's a bigger challenge when we're talking about cross-country business and regional business. Then you need to consider not only specific particular function, but also a scale and that specific of each country. Always the consolidation, and the last point here is about consolidation and looking at the plans in total is also one of the critical challenges. How to understand specific on the low level, and how to explain it on the total level. How to understand what are the main drivers for the business and, that influence current performance. So what is the expectation from planning today? Looking and talking to colleagues in the region, we see that there are like main three requests and expectations. The first one is about being flexible. The second one, connected, and the third one, agile. Talking about each of it, just to say what is behind flexible, it is about having the solution that actually support the business, support the specifics of the business, and actually being the tool for business, not the business for tool. And it's always important also not just to have a fast opportunity to quickly implement solution, but it's also opportunity to have an opportunity to implement changes because the environment is very dynamic. Connected is about connecting the teams, connecting the people sitting in different locations, countries, etc., being able to collaborate, to talk same numbers and make decisions based on the total picture. And the last but not the least, I always was saying is that really excellent planning has one big difference versus good planning. So excellent planning has options to look to the scenarios. So scenario planning is the enabler to move and grow the maturity of the process and planning process, to have a chance to understand what if, to look to the whole assumptions, to look to the opportunities that business has, to look to the risks and make the best decisions based on what could happen and be prepared to this potential change in the best possible manner. How we can assess, and we'll be talking today with Philipp and Michelle about that, how we can assess the value generated from the implementation of planning solution. We always like to see the impact in two areas. So one is quantitative. It's about efficiency, reducing the cost and increase the revenue. So we want to see the implication on the business performance that can be measured. And this is what we see that our clients are talking about. This is really coming. We see the results like this. And that's our dream always to have in each particular project we would like to have and see such results. Second thing is about qualitative. And I will just pick up a few of them. So like collaborative working, we said that it's about internal collaboration and also external collaboration. External collaboration with the customers and suppliers. Steering in disruption, I just want to say about connectivity or connection of the operations and strategy. It's quite often the strategy is just, laying somewhere. It was done and then forgotten. There is a clear necessity to bring more dynamic into strategy and link into the operations. And probably the last here is Agile business model. So it's about changing and adapting solutions. So planning solutions always should be quick to adapt to the changes that we see. It's not, empowering users, insights and transparency and speed of execution as well important as others. I just wanted to pick up a few of them to speak a bit more in details. There are three questions I wanted to leave with you to think. We do believe that these questions trigger the right thoughts around how to make planning better. So first one is how we maintain a resilient mindset, how to have the solution that support us during these volatile times and changes that we see, how to develop early warning system, how to do exceptional based planning, how we can bring the potential future closer for today to make better decisions. And the last one, we cannot control some of the things. They will just happen, and we need to have a response. So how we can have a fast response to the things we cannot control. So living with these three questions, I want to pass the word to Andrew to talk about how connected planning can help and can transform how you see plan and run your business, and how Anaplan help to tackle this. Andrew, over to you.
Thank you very much, Leonid. Appreciate it. So I'm going to talk through Anaplan's view on the world, the challenges that we're seeing organizations. Why is that such a challenge for organizations? How Anaplan can help you, and some of the business outcomes that we've delivered for customers. So, right. So as Leonid said, we're living in a world of constant change. We're seeing huge logistical challenges and supply chain disruption that was brought on 2 years ago, but the shadows of COVID are still impacting businesses today. The war in Ukraine is also, making that worse. From a retail perspective, we're also seeing continued uncertainty in terms of where customers are actually going to buy things. Am I going to go into a retail store and go and buy my favorite clothing item, or am I just going to order that online? This is making it extremely difficult for organizations to predict where that consumer demand is going to be moving forward. Adding to that, we're seeing rising costs and inflation. This is putting huge pressure on businesses' margins, and they can't just pass that margin onto the end consumer, because that end consumer themselves is feeling the pinch and also changing their spending habits. Something that I may have spent a lot of money on before, I may be thinking twice about spending it on that thing. And lastly, we're seeing labor shortages. So a great example here is airlines. If you think back just 1.5 years ago, there was no flights. A whole lot of people and labor were not working. There's the shift towards this gig economy. Organizations now are struggling to understand strategic workforce planning. How can I make sure I have the right people in my business to support customer success? And what's the reputational impact if I don't have the right people? Think about standing in the line at an airport. If a couple of those bays are closed, you're going to stand in the line for hours. That is a negative consumer experience, and that impacts your or the brand's reputation and your perception of that brand. So all of these things added together are really creating a balancing act for most CFOs. So I have the privilege of speaking to a number of CFOs, and they're all balancing this equation on how do I reduce costs in my organization to maintain margin, but at the same time find ways in which I can drive growth. That's a really simple equation, but it starts to get even more tricky when you start to bring in the sustainability. How do I actually do all of that sustainably? How do I measure it? Do I have the data available to me to measure it? And what we're finding is today, to stay ahead in this constantly changing environment, organizations are finding ways in which they can be digitally transformed. How do I bring in technology to help me become more agile and be more efficient in my organization? Agile to changes. And the reason organizations are really struggling to keep up is, if you think about most organizations, it's split into a number of business areas. For sales, you may have a CRM system where you capture all of that customer data. From an operations point of view, you may have a supply chain management system. From a finance point of view, all of that financial information may be sitting in an SAP or an Oracle, as an example. The challenge that we're finding is when you start to think forward in terms of strategic plans, trying to connect all of that data becomes extremely messy. So if I have a sales forecast, what impact does that have on my supply chain? How do I see that from a financial point of view? What we're seeing in majority of organizations is that that's an absolute nightmare to try and consolidate all of this data to try and make some sense of it. So you have no financial line of sight, and it inhibits your ability to make decisions. Equally, that process is slow and it's complex. So a challenge that you're trying to solve for today, because this world is changing so quickly, the challenge that you were trying to solve has already moved on. So we're helping organizations be a lot more proactive and agile in terms of how they get access to data to connect their people, their plans, and enable themselves to make better and faster decisions. What Anaplan essentially does is connect the enterprise end to end. What that allows you to do is have real-time visibility across your whole organization. So if I do have an increase in sales demand, what impact is that going to have on my inventory levels that I need to store in my warehouses or in my shops? What financial impact might that have on my cash flow, my income statement, and my balance sheet? Do I have the right people in place to actually serve that increased demand? Or if demand drops, the opposite is almost true. So if you think about this, and I'll go on to it in a couple of slides, if I have a sales forecast that is not linked to my inventory or my supply chain, I may overpredict sales and therefore buy too much. And the end result is, if I don't sell that, I have a whole lot of obsolete inventory. I was sitting just the other day, in fact, 2 days ago, with the CFO of a very, very large organization here in the Middle East. They had to write off millions and millions of obsolete stock because operations was not connected to sales forecasting. When you do this correctly and you connect all parts of your organization or the value chain, it unlocks cash and it drives EBITDA or profitability. To give you a short example, if you think about, in our experience, just a 2% increase in your demand forecast accuracy can drive a 15%, between 5 and 15% in your inventory holding costs. If you're holding 20 million of inventory, 15% reduction on that is 3 million in cost that you could either avoid or save as an organization. And I have a couple of examples here, and just in terms of some organizations and the benefits that they've seen by using a connected planning platform. One great example would be carters who saved 25 million in inventory holding costs by improving their forecast accuracy. They removed 8 days from their inventory. Microsoft is using Anaplan from a workforce planning perspective to start help them understand call center volumes and demand and how many people they should be placing in their call centers. Coca-Cola is another great example. We connected 68 of their bottling plants in just 12 weeks. That unlocked about 200 million in savings from an OpEx perspective. We also helped them through COVID in terms of from a logistics planning point of view, where to send their trucks. It made no sense to send a truck to a store that might be closed because no one's going to be there to receive the stock. That helped Coca-Cola make much more informed, proactive decisions that had a significant impact on their bottom line. Anaplan has been talking about connected planning for probably the last 7 or so years. And it's great to see that the industry analysts are recognizing Anaplan as a leader in the space. Gartner calls it connected planning and analysis. Anaplan's been calling it connected planning for the last, as I said, 7 years. Right. So we're recognized by Gartner's. We also recognized by Forrester and IDC and a number of the other independent analysts as leaders in the space. And we're very, very proud to be trusted by the world's biggest brands. What you'll see is we also spread across multiple industry verticals and helping these organizations unlock value every day. Just to give you one small example, probably one of my most favorite examples is the work that we're doing with the South Central Ambulance Service in the UK. So PlanIQ is Anaplan's AI ML engine. And what we're helping them do is take in weather data, sporting data, to help the NHS actually place where their ambulances are so that they can get to a particular incident within 7 minutes. Now, in this case, we helped them unlock about 10 million in savings. But for me, that's not the most important thing. The most important thing here is we're actually having a real impact on saving lives. If I can help an ambulance get to a patient quicker, we have an opportunity to change an individual's life. And that for me is extremely powerful, going just beyond the financial benefits that we can unlock. About June last year, Anaplan was acquired by a private equity company called Thoma Bravo, who has about 150 billion in assets. They mostly invest in software companies, and their investment hypothesis is that they can turn Anaplan into a category-defining platform for planning. So if you think about the old Siebel days on CRM, that's morphed into Salesforce as that CRM platform. If you think about service management, ServiceNow now dominates that space. From a planning point of view, Excel, all of the different modules that you might find from the ERP players, that's not core to their business. Anaplan will become the de facto planning category defining platform for planning. And as I said in the beginning, it's an absolute privilege for me to be able to help organizations across the Middle East and Turkey start to benefit from this modern technology within their own organizations. I'm going to leave you just with the last 2 slides as an example. Now, we worked with a health and beauty retailer. They were doing quite well in terms of their forecast accuracy, but they wanted to take that to the next level, at a SKU level. They used Anaplan's AI ML to help them look at their forecasting. They did that over an 8-month time horizon and let that algorithm run. They increased their forecast accuracy by just 1.4%, and that unlocked 4 million in savings. Lastly, and just in summary, what makes Anaplan different to any other technology? I'm going to touch on a few. There's rapid time to value. So on average, we're 4 to 5 times cheaper than the large ERPs, and we can be implemented in 4 to 6 months. It's an extremely intelligent tool. So we have a powerful AI ML engine that leverages Amazon forecasting capabilities. And last, the bottom right, user experience. We pay a huge amount of attention to making sure that users like the platform and they have a really positive experience. It's business owned. And we're finding a lot of, if you can use Excel, you will be very comfortable in Anaplan. And the reason we do that is because we want organizations and employees to adapt and like the platform, because if you don't like it, you're going to go back to your old ways in terms of planning, aka Excel. With that, Leonid, I'm going to hand over now to hear from one of our customers and the journey that they've been on with Anaplan. So I'd like to hand over to Michelle to talk about the Unilever experience.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Andrew. So my name is Michelle Pena. I work for Unilever. I am an IT delivery manager, and my job is to bring in the latest technologies and deploy here in the market. And today I'll be talking about Anaplan, which is one of those technologies that we use, and show you how it actually benefited our market. Most of my experience has been in supply chain, from sales and operation manager to planning and sales manager. 5 years ago, Planingo came over to the United States and we deployed this application. So the application I'll be talking to you today is our sales and operations app. Our app, really what it's doing is integrating our business and helping us really align our forecast around the different functions that we have to really have decision-making decisions around the forecast, and not just profitable plan, but also do we have the right capacity to make it. This was really important for Unilever because with this aligned plan and given the power to executive to make those decisions, we're able to really lead and increase top line growth. So today, our Anaplan app really provides transparency across our multidimensional planning between sales, supply chain, finance, marketing. It brings efficiency because it gives us the time to, it really gives us real-time changes as we look at our plans and tweak any demand drivers. It really gives us the view to see the building blocks of our forecast. And with the insights, it allows us to do what-if scenarios. If a promotion gets approved, a new opportunity gets approved from a customer, how does that look like in value? If we have a constraint in supply and we have to remove a promotion or phase our demand, what does that do in terms of volume and also turnover value? And to our business, this and financial business is magical. So all of this integrating app is done in real time. It's integrating all these forecasts, and it has a really, really crisp visualization, and our market really enjoys using it. We deployed this about 5 years ago, and it's still very, very successful today. It's one of our most, I will say, from a user experience, most liked application. So very successful story here in the US for Anaplan S&OP app, but it wasn't the case. So let me share with you our journey. Like most of any product goods company, we had a very, very complex volume consensus process with fragmented forecasts, again, across sales, marketing, supply chain, and finance. It required a lot of people, a lot of meetings, very lengthy process, and it felt that we were very, very slow at making decisions. And most of the times during a lot of these meetings, we spend most of the time just reconciling the different forecasts. and probably had no directions at all. The high effort and very lengthy process sort of forced us to be very short-term focused. So we became very good at executing the in-month, maybe the next month, 3 months out. But that midterm, long-term month, we had very little insight. And as time progressed, the market got faster. We acquired more brands. It became evident that in time, leaving that mid to long-term focus just unseen, untouched, really started causing ripple effect in our inventory service and just high residual inventory cost. We weren't planning proper innovations out in time. We weren't seeing where supply chain couldn't meet that forecast. We weren't anticipating for any opportunities that we were getting from sales and marketing. And so we were left to just execute as fast as possible and do a lot of fire drills short term. And we sort of burnt out in time. So we knew 5 years ago that we needed to do something fast. And what we wanted was to fix the process and fix the technology quickly and fast, to be aligned in the process and have clear visibility of what our top line growth will look like. And that's what we did. So about 5 years ago, I'll walk you through how we implemented Anaplan. We can move to the next slide. 5 years ago, the Planingo team came to the US, and with leadership support, we really focused in how do we implement this application. It was about a few weeks of workshop, and what we ended up doing is really focusing on, okay, what do we want our process to be? Where are the gaps in technologies? What do we need to integrate? What do we need to customize? And we did that in 6 months. So really, really fast. And the adoption was very, very quick. Most importantly, because the customizations and the visualization that Anaplan brings was liked by our end users fast. The collaboration with Planingo and our stakeholders and our everyday end users, seeing how crisp and clear charts, waterfalls provided our information from all the different forecasts, and have the visibility to see that building block and changes and risk and opportunities was adopted increasingly fast. And the reason why we were able to integrate this in 6 months is because the Anaplan's capabilities on integrating. So I think, Andrew, you mentioned this earlier. If you move to the next slide, I will share with you that we have in Unilever these systems around promotion planning, operation planning, financial planning, our master data, our data lakes and our insights were all very siloed, I will say. And the cost to sort of integrate these core businesses would have been massive and lengthy. And so the benefit that Anaplan brought to us is the ability to integrate this really, really quick by just picking and choosing the right data inputs we wanted from any of these system interfaces. It allowed for quick data transformation. It was very quick and easy. And also, again, the visualization and the collaboration platform that Anaplan brings made it very, very powerful tool. And we got implemented in 6 months. So we rolled it out within 6 months after that by each sort of categories. And 5 years from ago until now, it's still one of our most used, best liked applications. So some of these benefits that I want to share with you today with Anaplan is the fact that we had superior efficiency savings. We rolled this out 5 years ago, and within the first year, we saw a 50% decrease in time. It was taking us somewhere between 5,000 plus hours to run through S&OP cycle in 1 month. And after implementation, we reduced that by 3,000. Today, actually, it's a lot for last. It's only we're only spending like 2,000 hours. So today versus 5 years ago, it's about 70% unlock time that we have with the Anaplan delivered to us through with S&OP. It is fully integrated. It's probably one of the only tools that allows supply chain, finance, marketing, and sales to view one forecast. And as much as it's used in supply chain, it is probably used more by finance and marketing and sales. It allows for really crisp gap filling management, something that we were missing 5 years ago. We weren't able to see those gaps and anticipate what if. And this was able to bring that. And we were able to be proactive, we were able to close the gap and look further in our forecast horizon. The tool gave us really accurate cash up. That's another thing. As we deployed this Anaplan in S&OP, then we ended up deploying it in financial systems and in marketing systems. A different version of it for something else, but it allows for real-time cash up, something that would have taken us maybe over the weekend to run through Hyperion. It was allowing us to do that within just one click of a button. So super, super fast. And you will see that the business improvements are not just efficiency, but from a quality perspective, our forecast bias went from around 7 negative bias to now it's within 2.53%. Volume accuracy, we went up by 400 bips. And most importantly, Anaplan was the first tool that launched us into really this exception-based planning mindset that we weren't there 5 years ago. And so today we use this by exception. Having a really crisp, harmonized plan allows us also to reduce manual touches and let the system drive the forecast, let the systems and other tools and technologies do the thing. It really helped the end users trust technology, trust the quality, and really brought in those benefits from the visibility of long and midterm horizon. Our next sort of phase will be in long-term capacity planning, RCCP, which will help improve further out the horizon. But this was the first application that we launched 5 years ago, and it was a step changer. And today we still use it, and it's a very powerful tool. So that's Michelle, a little bit of how we use Anaplan.
Thank you, Michelle. If you think about Unilever as an organization, it's a big, complex, one of the most prestigious, FMCG goods in the world. And saying that you implemented something in 6 months that then drove 70% in terms of time savings and had helped you with your forecast bias from 7% down to 2.5 to 3% is, it almost feels, and I'm going to be slightly biased, but that's almost unbelievable. So congratulations to you and the team for getting that right and doing it. There must have been something that was tricky in the implementation. You painted a great, beautiful, wonderful story, but I'd be really interested if there's other organizations out there. Were there any challenges in the implementation, and what would your advice be for other organizations that may have been in a similar situation that you were 5 years ago? What would your advice be to them today as they start to think about connecting the enterprise to try and unlock some of those benefits that Unilever's achieved?
Yes. I think the first thing is to have leadership support and really drive it top down. The S&OP issue was critical to North America. It was very important to get that top line growth reverted back to positive. So it was supportive from the top down. We also, in parallel of the integration, we're working extremely hard in getting the process right. And having that gap technology analysis, crucial. You can't deploy technology and not have the process be part of that. And really involve stakeholders, involve everyone that's going to use the tool, and do it collaboratively. Again, the power of Anaplan that is so flexible and you can do it on the fly versus any of the other systems that take time to do a change and see how it looks later, 3 months later. That's not the case with Anaplan. So we were able to collaborate with leadership, with users easily. And as they were giving comments and feedback, it was done there on the fly. I mean, I had the Planingo architect there within all our meetings. And as we were getting feedback, he was putting it in the system and we were seeing results right there. And that, like I said, was such a phenomenal Unilever. Everybody loved it. And then it was very easy to get on board and say, you know, they believed in the power of the tool and they believe in the power we're doing. So it was very easy to get adoption. The hardest part was to get the process right and put the cadence and the timing. But so we had engaged our process excellence team from different functions to make sure that we were very disciplined in the process and trained them properly. So although it took us 6 months to deploy it, it took us another 6 months to sort of get it right with the process, using it correctly, going into meetings, making sure that people were using it right. And it was, if you think of it from a PGLS support, so from a post-go live support, it took us 6 months of continuous training, continuous supporting, maybe small tweaks to get it right. And then we had hands-off, and it's been hands-off since. We've been very rarely needs to make a change in it, and if we do, is to increase data and size. Very successful story here in North America.
It's great. Thank you very much. And you know, on behalf of the Anaplan Planingo team, and obviously all of our guests listening here today, I've learned a ton from you, and thank you very much for sharing your insights with us.
Anytime. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Michelle, very much, and thank you for the warm words about the Planingo team. I'm really happy to hear that. So we are ready to move to the next session, and I would like to introduce Philipp. Philipp, CEO of Balton Trading Asia, and Philipp, if you can introduce to the audience a Balton business and talk a bit about what was done and what was implemented for Balton business, would be great to hear.
Sure, thank you, Leonid. Hello, everyone. So as I said, I'm Philipp Gorbunov, CEO of the largest FMCG distributor in Uzbekistan. So meanwhile, you probably start Googling where is Uzbekistan and what it is. So I'll make it a bit simpler for you. It's a great country, blessed with sun, fruits, great people, rich history, high gold reserve. So up until 5 years ago, it was blessed with everything but economy. All right. So before it was southern frontier of Soviet Union, and then the next 25 years was a very isolated and economically stagnant country. And however, nevertheless, even there used to be business, and we as distributor have been in the market for almost 30 years. However, and we're very proud not only for the lengths in the market, we partners with such companies like Nestle, Colgate, Palmolive, Bunge. So we do represent a lot of great brands and great companies here on the ground. So as I said, about like 5-6 years ago, the situation drastically changed in Uzbekistan. So the new reforms brought some air and good economy growth. I think since then it was annual growth was usually on GDP level about 5-6% every year, including COVID years. I think it was one of the very few countries that had economic growth during COVID. And that's an environment we operate in, and I think we took it hand in hand with the country economy. So we grew rapidly over the last 5 years. We tripled our revenues. We've went nationwide distribution from a primarily capital Tashkent-based company. So we increased the number of warehouses from 2 to 10, number of partners. I think number of our SKUs went from 300 to over 2,000 in several years. So as everyone was saying, no doubt we live in a very volatile environment, but I would say Uzbekistan is probably specific even in this sense. And such a business growth brings some challenges. Rapid expansion, brings a lot of challenges. It was for us very fast, and I would say very furious. Of course, we say it's a good problem to have when you grow and your growth bring you some challenges. It's challenges which you like to solve. However, as we say, appetite comes with eating. So once on this journey, which was concentrated in a couple of years, operationally, it's really huge scaling for our company. As I said, 5 times more warehouses, 7 times more SKUs. It comes to lots and lots of processes. So, and then, you do one thing, you do another thing, you do a third thing, and then somehow Excel crashes. Of course, it's not only about this. I mean, it's one of the signs that there are some things you need to change. But that was one of the first triggers for us that we went so like huge in our granular, very small transactional level that we wanted to do a big change. Because it's, I think I've mentioned the number of warehouses, number of regions. We do serve over 17,000 outlets in the country and doing like more than 5,000 orders a day on a very granular level, right? As a distributor to a primarily traditional trade market. We do smaller orders. Our minimum is an equivalent to $10. So it's like really lots and lots and lots of orders, picking goods coming in and out of the warehouse, which we somehow need to plan. And that's at some point what we realized and started looking for a solution. We also had an idea that with such a drastic changes, we might not even survive this huge growth over several next years if we don't do a leapfrog in the processes. So we went to see what's available in the market, and somehow went to see Anaplan in the demos, and in the end made our choice here. Together with the implementators. Leonid was head of our implementing partner. For us, was quite interesting to see. It was one of I think it was definitely first one in Uzbekistan and one of the first implementations in Central Asia, which was a risk to me. I would usually be a second one to try. There's some successful experiences, but here we somehow so very much specialized tool and people with a good expertise. So when you see partners projecting confidence and experience, at some point you start reevaluating risks, and that's what we did here on implementation. I think the same as with the previous example of Michelle and Unilever was quite fast implementation. We went below 6 months. With quite an meaningful effort from our side. So I think it was really both sides that did their best in order to do a smooth transition and smooth implementation. And then several months after we started using it, so it was a great user experience in terms of time for planning, and I think we have it in the right chart of the right part of the slide. We saved a lot of time on planning man hours, women hours, and a lot of time was left for decision making. So whenever we had our integrated meetings, it was much faster with the tool. So that was one of the very first and obvious benefits for us. And then as time went by, we decided to evaluate it somehow, in terms of money and all the benefits which we actually generated, if there were any, through the implementation. And we realized we were focused, I think, exactly on the three things which Andrew and Leonid were mentioning. In part, we unlocked a lot of opportunities for our business growth, and in 60% growth, which we achieved since implementation, it was a big part of, let's say, enabler from supply chain side, and one of the big ones was planning side here. In terms of customer service, a lot of development went on the customer side. Lots of modern trade retailers grew more and more aggressively in the market, and of course their demand for service increased. We realized that once we start measuring it, and after implementation of Anaplan, we went actually 15 percentage points upwards in service level of the main suppliers, due to reduction of out of stocks, making sure we do have right plans on SKU level in a very specific channel, and sometimes even with a specific retailer. We have a joint business planning process with the largest retailer in the country. And again, the last but not the least, with 2,000 SKUs and warehouses, rapid business growth, it was and a lot of novelties that our partners really wanted to introduce in the growing market. It was very difficult to analyze and keep up with the stock levels. So we had quite large write-offs, which usually came from certain events on specific suppliers, or stuck in the warehouse, in the regions in the warehouse where it was not moving. So I think we've reduced it more than twice, and right now we're we're still above zero, which is not desirable, but we are much better than we used to be. And for us, it was even this sum alone for the first 12 months, it more than paid for our implementation license cost and actually the entire project cost. Okay, so that's basically in a nutshell about us and our experience on the journey. I think we keep going after the first implementation, which the results which you see here on demand planning. We went into more efficiency on supply planning. We've improved our operations in terms of transfer to different locations on the stock. So hopefully next year we're going to be looking at the same numbers. I think we'll see even a better picture here. So that's basically what I had to present. Ready to take your questions and in some more granularity. Thanks, Leonid.
Thank you, Philipp. And I remember the time when we started, and it's really great to see the result. And I should say that you mentioned regarding like the implementation and the ways, how we work together. How teams work together. I think this trust and collaboration is one of the key factors for the success for the implementation. And we really enjoyed to work together with Balton team and keep going. Yeah, I would like to ask a few questions. The first one is about the collaboration and work, the cross-functional work in Balton. So do you think the implementation, or if you see the impact on the way how people communicate and collaborate, having the Anaplan implemented, did it change anything in this space?
Oh, I would say there were quite some changes in the dynamics. Before Anaplan implementation, we had some best practices on the planning side. We started to do integrated planning, so at least there was a good communication within the team. However, once we moved to the new way of working, including Anaplan, I think it really helped everyone involved to get away from lengthy planning meetings, looking at the details on what and how is planned, in order to unlock some time for decision making. And this understanding of the team between the planning, the commercial, supply chain guys, I think it brought a good vibe on the process. So really we started spending much more time on value added decisions, which I believe was also one of the enablers to the results we've seen on the slide. So the process became much easier, not only for the planners themselves, but actually for the entire involved organization. And I think now it's we kind of got used to very easy access to data, very quick check on, okay, where are we in terms of stocks and plans and where it's all coming from. I think people appreciate getting rid of a mechanical job and spend much more time on crucial business decisions. That's, to me, was the biggest change in dynamic.
Thank you, Philip. Another one is about the implementation process itself and adoption to the technology. Have you observed what were the challenges in taking people on board to and using new tool? Any challenges in the area of training, and either any advice you would share with anyone who considers to implement solution as Anaplan?
Well, I would say, generally people very resistant to change, and I guess our organization is not an exception in this sense. However, we're pretty lucky first that people already realized there are a lot of changes happening in the country and in the company, and it was our, I think, third consecutive new software, new tool, new platform implementation from the ERP and warehouse management system. So in general, there was understanding that it's a difficult process, but chances are it will work in the end. But in this sense, for us, most important was to find ambassadors in the organization in order to drive the project and facilitate enjoyment of the tool, because otherwise it will always fall into trap of finding errors and pitfalls and rather than benefits. I think we were pretty lucky in this sense. And then another quite important thing, which was not there from the beginning, and I think it went from discussion with your team and with Anaplan, when we realized that, okay, we have a chance to build our own small competence center. I think people were pretty much excited in order that they're not only the ones who will implement or use the table, they will actually form some knowledge inside the company or maybe even outside if it comes. So I think it helped a lot, and now people were and are really proud, not only on the implementation itself, but I think we drive a lot of processes for our partners, even for the big companies that present here through us, or we run the show for them. But we like to show our processes. We're ready to share tools and platforms. I think it brought a lot of another level of satisfaction to our own people, our own employees. They are there on the front, so they keep the keen on development and keep going forward. So I think those recommendations would be a really good ambassadors inside the organization. Try to get more than than just the user experience, So people like to bring value, and create a competence center was a big big thing for us.
Thank you, Philip. The question that I'm really curious to hear the answer from you is about planning overall and the role in the organization. So the question I wanted to ask you is that you see the dynamic currently in the market, and you see where you go as the company. So what is your expectations as a CEO from planning as a function in the process overall? So what you would like to get out of it, and how you see the progress in the future?
Well, for me, I want to have enough products in the right time and the right place. I don't want to have too much product stuck in the balance sheet or written off. And moreover, I'm more keen on the process itself than just the plan, because to me, all the plans will be wrong anyway. It's only a question of how wrong they will be and how you will react to this. So if I have a good understanding and good tools in the organization on quick reaction in order of market change, I don't know, supply disruption, whatever, that will lead to what I want to see. I want to see a good stock level and a great service level to the customers. That's as easy as this, I would say.
Thank you very much, Philip. We are moving to the, let's say, last part of our session, and I would like to introduce the session with Andrew. So Andrew, I would like to ask a few questions regarding Anaplan. Yeah, we have heard a lot today from Michelle and Philip, and thank you very much, colleagues, for that. Andrew, the first question I would like to ask you about, like, the fact that we see that Anaplan is like a new name for the Middle East and Turkey. So what has changed during the last period of time? How Anaplan looks to the region? What are the expectations from the region for Anaplan?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Leonid. I think, well, I'm sitting right here in Abu Dhabi right now. So Anaplan is here. We have a massive appetite to continue to invest in the region. We have some wonderful customers already. Some of the hallmark names across the Middle East are already planning with Anaplan. So I'd say that we are here as a technology one, but equally there's a lot more for us to do. I think there's a huge amount of benefit and value that we can still bring to the Middle Eastern region as a whole. Organizations here, and just being on the ground, experiencing the growth and the thought and the forward thinkingness of the companies here. We want to be a platform that can continue to help them accelerate that growth and leapfrog and go to the next level. So it's a big part of our investment strategy. I've been here the whole week with our managing director, Dane, and the whole purpose of that trip is to see what investments do we need to come and proactively make in this market. So you'll continue. The key message is we are here, and we'll just see more and more and more of Anaplan as we continue to expand and pump investment into this market as well as Turkey.
Andrew, interesting to hear, what are the challenges that you see here in the market, because you talk to many companies and you see what is the dynamic in the very different industries. What are the challenges that you would probably highlight as the key ones that you observe here in the region? And why do you think that Anaplan can help to resolve them?
Yeah, so I think the key challenges that every organization is facing, I think it's a global macroeconomic challenge that many organizations are facing, right? So supply chain disruption, inflation, etc. One of the things that's really exciting about the Middle East is actually, although there's been a whole lot of disruption around the world, and yes, there is pressure to consolidate costs and find new ways of driving revenue, this market is extremely forward thinking, and they're looking for technologies to help them with AI, ML to get to the next level. So whilst the challenges, I think, are all the same, the good news is that there's technology and platforms that can help solve those challenges. And we've heard from Philipp and Michelle today in terms of how Anaplan can help solve supply chain disruption, give you better insight into data, model it what if scenario so that you can be more forward thinking and plan those investments. So, you know, I don't think there's any unique challenge that's different here to anywhere else in the world. What I do see as very exciting is actually over here, there's a great opportunity to accelerate growth even quicker than we've seen in the past. But there is the need for technology to help enable that growth.
Yeah, and just the question regarding the technology aspect. So we see like there is a big buzz around the artificial intelligence and the new functionality and new solutions that artificial intelligence allows and brings to the market. I mean, into the companies. What Anaplan does in this space? Is there like anything new that Anaplan introduce, and what is the direction that Anaplan goes in this space?
Yeah, so Anaplan does have AI and ML technology on the platform. So we actually use Amazon's forecasting engine. So it's a service that we leverage from Amazon, and all of those algorithms. So that helps organizations like the example I gave with PlanIQ and the ambulance service. It has the ability to pull in external data, analyze that through an AI ML engine, and help give a prediction in terms of what an organization should be doing. Now that helps free up organizations and finance teams time so that they can focus on those more value-added activities. But if you think about it from a retail perspective, taking in data like when is Eid, for example, or if there's a big sporting event, or if there's a big Expo 2020 in Dubai, we can help take historical data, put that through an AI ML engine, and help organizations better predict what impact that's going to have. How much stock should I have in my stores on that day? That's going to, if it's Eid, for example, or there's even in a conversation I was having the other day, if a road is blocked, it has an impact on the number of people in the store. We can start to help organizations. If we capture that event, we can help organizations predict what that may be like in the future. So if there is a big event, or if there is Eid and that shifts, that AI ML is helping them do that. So I think the long answer, but we do have AI ML built in, and it's leveraging some of the best technology in the world with Amazon Forecast.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to say that the example you shared about the ambulance in London, so it's a really great thing. And we always thinking that it's one thing to have a good business results, but it's also really good to have the impact on real life of people and the way like they work and even lives. So it's a really great example. Thank you very much, Andrew. And colleagues, I just a couple of words from my side. I wanted to thank you attending the session from Planingo side. And here you can see on the screen the contacts, so you can visit our site or write us to the email. Zainab from Planingo team will be happy to pick up any question if you'd like to see any demo, and also team from Anaplan, so you can choose and write any contacts you see here on the screen. So, and I wanted to thank again Michelle and Philipp for the stories they shared. It's really proud to see the results, and this is what makes sense of what we are doing. Yeah, to see these results. Thank you very much.
Yeah, enough of the thanks, and if I can just echo my thanks to both Michelle and Philipp. You know, we're obviously very proud and thankful that we've been able to impact your business in a positive way. A lot of IT implementations are just IT implementations, and they go on for months and months and months and months, and there isn't the ability for organizations to actually realize tangible value. So thank you for sharing your stories and insights, and we look forward to continuing the fruitful partnership together for many years ahead. So thank you very much.
We leave you with a short video and hope to see you soon, and we'll be happy to talk to you.
Yeah, and just to everybody that's joined today, I hope you've taken a little bit of value an insight away from today's session. Tim's details there, Zainab's details are there, but if there are any questions you'd like to address to me directly, my email address is andrew.haas@anaplan.com. Feel free. Thanks everyone and have a wonderful afternoon. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.
We all have dreams for our business in the future. Dreams to be better, faster, bigger. But to make those dreams a reality, you need a plan forward. Yet if traditional business planning worked, you wouldn't still be dreaming about the future. It would be a reality right here, right now. At Anaplan, we believe connecting strategy and plans to decisions and results is a new way forward today. Anaplan transforms how you see, plan, and run your business, giving you insight on performance now and predictive views of what's next. Only Anaplan reveals the brilliance hidden within your company, powering its potential to grow and helping you seize opportunities you see right now and the ones you could never see coming. With Anaplan, you're sure to make the right moves right now to drive your business forward. Anaplan forward.